The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched for miles under a dome of crystal that showed the stars beyond. Ambassador Taman Park walked slowly across the smooth floor, his footsteps echoing in the vast space. Behind him, 3 other humans followed. They all wore simple dark blue uniforms with the Earth symbol on their chests. Taman had waited 5 years for this moment. Today, the Council would decide if humans could become full members of the galaxy's government. He looked up at the massive beings who ruled the stars. The Viridians looked like giant crystals that changed colors when they spoke. The Nephites were like living clouds of gas that floated in glass containers. The constructors appeared as metal machines with glowing eyes. "Honored Council," Taman said, his voice carrying across the hall. "I speak for all humans today. We ask to join you as equals in governing the galaxy." A deep sound filled the hall. It came from Elder Cathara, the oldest Viridian. When she spoke, her crystal body turned from blue to gold. "Young species," she said slowly, "you have been in space for only 200 years. We have watched the stars for thousands." Hyunwoo. Kim stepped forward. He was older than Taman, with gray hair and kind eyes. "Elder Cathara, we know we are new to space, but we have learned much. We have built colonies on 50 worlds. We trade fairly with all species. We follow the laws. Do you?" asked Counselor Drex. The Nephite's gas form swirled angrily in his container. "Your people spread across space like fire. You take more worlds each year. You breed too fast. You build too many ships." Minji Lee spoke up. She was the youngest human there, but her voice was strong. "We expand because we need room for our growing families. We do not take worlds that belong to others. We only settle empty planets." "Empty to you," Drex said, "but some of those worlds are near our sacred places. Your ships fly too close to areas where our young develop. This troubles us." Taman felt the mood in the hall change. The other council members were listening more carefully now. He knew this was important. "Counselor Drex, we respect all sacred places. If you tell us which areas to avoid, we will stay away." The Constructor Prime unit spoke in a voice like grinding metal. "There is one law above all others in this galaxy. It has kept peace for 2,000 years. Do you know this law, humans?" Hyunwoo nodded. "The first law. No being may harm the children of any species. Children are sacred. They must be protected always." "Yes," Elder Cathara said, her crystal body glowing brighter. "This law came from the Great Purges long ago. Entire species died when their young were killed. Worlds became empty. Stars went dark. We swore never to let this happen again." Minji stepped closer to the council. "We understand this law completely. On human worlds, we protect all children, not just our own. Viridian young grow safely in our crystal gardens. Constructor offspring learn in our schools. Nephite spawn float freely in our sky cities." "This is true," admitted Constructor Prime Unit. "Our calculations show humans treat alien children as well as their own. This is unusual among young species." Counselor Drex's gas form turned darker. "But what happens when human children are threatened? Your species has a history of violence. You fought wars on your home planet for thousands of years." Taman chose his words carefully. "We fought because we were divided, but we learned to live together. Now we are one people. We have not fought a war between humans for 300 years." "That may be," Drex said, "but our studies show humans become very dangerous when their young are threatened, more dangerous than most species." Jiwan Choi had been quiet until now. She was in charge of human colonies and knew space better than anyone. "Counselor Drex, every species protects its children. This is natural. Yes, humans fight hard to defend our young. But we have never broken the first law. We have never harmed another species' children." "No," agreed Elder Cathara, "you have not. In fact, you have saved many young beings. Your rescue ships have pulled Viridian children from broken crystals. Your doctors have healed sick constructor offspring. Your pilots have guided lost Nephite. Spawn back to their swarms. Constructor Prime Unit's lights flashed as it processed information. Human protective behavior extends beyond their own species. This is rare. Most beings only protect their own kind. The hall fell silent for a long moment. Taman could feel the weight of thousands of years of history pressing down on them. These ancient beings had seen species rise and fall. They had witnessed the horrors of the great purges. They were careful about who they trusted. "We will vote," Elder Cathara announced. "All in favor of granting humans full membership in the Galactic Council?" Lights appeared above each council member. Green for yes, red for no. Taman held his breath. The Viridians showed green. The constructors showed green. The smaller species mostly showed green. But the Nephites showed red. "The vote is close," Elder Cathara said. "By the old laws, this means humans receive provisional membership. You may settle worlds and trade freely. But you have limits. You may not build military bases near sacred areas. Your fleets may not enter certain systems. You must report your expansion plans to us." Taman bowed deeply. "We accept these terms gratefully." But Jiwon whispered to him quietly, "They are putting us in a cage. They call it membership, but it is a cage." As the council session ended, the humans walked slowly back toward their ship. Hyanwu looked worried. "Did you see how the Nephites voted? All of them said no." "They fear us," Minji said. "Not because we are evil, but because we are different. We protect all children, not just our own. This scares them." Taman stopped walking and looked back at the Great Hall. "They created the first law because they learned what happens when children are harmed, but I think they have forgotten why the law exists. They see it as just another rule." "What do you mean?" Jiwon asked. "For them, the law prevents wars. For us, protecting children is not about law. It is about what makes us human. If someone harms a child, any child, we do not think about laws or politics. We think about one thing only. What is that?" Hyunwoo asked. Taman looked up at the stars. "Stopping them, no matter what it takes." As their ship lifted off from the council world, none of the humans knew that their words had been recorded. In the Nephite sectors of space, military leaders were already making plans. They had heard what the humans said about protecting children. They thought they understood what it meant. They were wrong. The greatest mistake in galactic history was about to begin. Dr. Somin Yoon loved her work on Harmony Colony. Every morning, she walked through the research station and watched human children playing with young aliens. Today, little Kira was teaching a Viridian child how to draw flowers. The crystal being's body flashed happy colors as it learned. "Dr. Yoon, look," called 8-year-old Marcus. He was showing a constructor offspring how to build with blocks. The young machine clicked and whirred with joy as they built a tower together. Soman smiled. "This is what the galaxy should be," she thought. Different species learning from each other. Growing together. Dongyuk Nam walked up beside her. He was her research partner and had been studying alien children for 3 years. "The Nephite spawn arrived this morning," he said. "They are in the sky pools now." "Wonderful," Somin said. "How many?" 12 young ones. Their guardian says they are excited to learn about solid planets. They have never seen trees before. Yoonji Kang came running from the communication center. She looked scared. "Somin, you need to hear this message. It came from Captain O's ship." Captain Jae-hwan. O commanded the small defense fleet that protected Harmony and 6 other human colonies. His ships were not very big, but they kept space, pirates away, and helped ships in trouble. Somin followed Yoonji to the communication room. Captain O's face appeared on the screen. He looked worried. "Dr. Yoon, I need to tell you something important. My scout ships have seen strange things near the border. Nephite war fleets are gathering. War fleets? Soman asked. But we have peace with the Nephites. Lieutenant Soyoung Han appeared beside Captain O. She was his intelligence officer. Ma'am, we have counted over 300 Nephite ships. Big ones. They are not merchant vessels or patrol boats. These are ships built for fighting. Soman felt cold fear in her stomach. Are they coming toward our colonies? We do not know yet, Captain O said, but they are only 2 days away from human space. I have sent messages to Admiral Lim on Earth. He says these are just training exercises. Training exercises? Dong-hyuk said. With 300 warships? Commander Yuna Shin's voice came through the radio. She was on patrol near the Nephite border. Captain, I am intercepting Nephite communications. They are using codes I have never heard before. The messages are very short and very fast. Can you decode them? Captain O asked. I am trying, but the patterns are strange. It is like they are planning something big. Back on the Nephite command ship, war leader Vex Thran floated in his command chamber. Around him, other Nephite officers swirled in their containers. The ship was huge, built for war, with weapons that could destroy planets. The human expansion must stop, Vex Thran said. His gas form turned dark red with anger. They spread like a disease. In 50 years, they will be everywhere. But the Council gave them permission to expand, said sub-leader Nex Thul. We cannot attack them without breaking galactic law. The Council was wrong. The other species do not understand. Humans are not like us. When they grow up, they become warriors. Every human child will become a fighter. What do you suggest? Asked another officer. Vexithran's form grew darker. We stop the problem before it starts. We eliminate their breeding colonies. No more human children means no more human warriors in the future. The other Nephites fell silent. What Vex Thran suggested had not been done for 2,000 years. It broke the most sacred law in the galaxy. The first law, whispered Nexthul. You speak of breaking the first law. The first law was made by weak species who did not understand war, Vex Thran said. We are strong. We do what must be done. On Earth, Daeho Jung was working late in his office. He was a xenoanthropologist, which meant he studied alien cultures. He had written many papers about how different species behaved. Tonight, he was reading Nephite war records. What he found made his blood freeze. The Nephites had fought wars before joining the Galactic Council. When they fought, they did not just defeat their enemies. They erased them completely. They destroyed entire species by killing all their young first, then hunting down the adults. Daeho quickly called Admiral Byung-ho Lim. Sir, I have found something terrible. The Nephite military doctrine includes targeting children as a primary war strategy. That was 2,000 years ago, Admiral Lim said. They follow the first law now. Do they? Sir, I have been studying their recent behavior. They keep asking questions about human breeding habits. They want to know how fast we have children, where our young live, how we protect them. Many species are curious about human reproduction, the Admiral said. We do have more children than most aliens. This is different, Daeho insisted. They are not curious. They are gathering intelligence, military intelligence. Back on Harmony, the children were having lunch together. Human kids sat next to Viridian crystals and constructor machines. In the sky pools above, young Nephites floated happily, learning about solid food for the first time. Teacher Naeun Park was reading a story to a mixed group. Once upon a time, she said, there was a garden where all kinds of flowers grew together. They were different colors and shapes, but they all needed the same things: sunshine, water, and care. Little Kira raised her hand. Like us, we are different, but we are friends. That is exactly right, Nayun said, smiling. None of them knew that high above the planet, invisible ships were watching. Nephite scouts were counting how many children lived on Harmony. They were making lists of schools and playgrounds and nurseries. Commander Yuna Shin finally broke the Nephite codes. What she read made her hands shake. She immediately called Captain. "Oh, sir, I know what they are planning. It is called the pruning protocol. They are going to attack 17 human colonies at the same time, but not to conquer them." "What then?" Captain O asked. "To kill all the children. They think if they eliminate human young, our species will become weak and stop expanding." Captain O stared at the screen in horror. "They cannot be serious. The first law, they do not care about the first law. The attack begins in 18 hours. Get me a channel to Earth immediately," Captain O ordered, "and prepare all ships for battle. Even if we die, we have to protect those children." On Harmony, Dr. Somin Yoon was putting the alien children to bed. The young Viridians dimmed their lights as they slept. The constructor offspring powered down with soft mechanical sounds. In the sky pools, the Nephite spawn floated peacefully. "Sweet dreams, little ones," Somin whispered. "Tomorrow we will learn about butterflies." She had no idea that tomorrow war was coming to their peaceful world. War like the galaxy had not seen for 2,000 years. War that broke the only law that truly mattered. In the darkness of space, hundreds of Nephite ships moved toward human colonies. Their weapons were charged. Their orders were clear. The children had to die. And with that decision, the Nephite race sealed their own doom. Because they had forgotten something important about humans. Something that would soon remind the entire galaxy why the first law existed. Some mistakes cannot be forgiven. Some crimes demand justice. And no force in the universe fights harder than humans protecting their young. The attack began as the twin sons of Harmony rose over the colony. Teacher Naeun Park was reading to her mixed class of human and alien children when the sky turned bright with weapons fire. "What was that flash?" asked little Kira, looking up from her drawing. Before Naeun could answer, the ground shook. Through the classroom windows, she saw Nephite warships dropping from the clouds like deadly rain. Their weapons glowed as they charged for another strike. "Children, quickly!" Nan shouted. "Everyone to the shelter room, just like we practiced." But this was not a drill. Plasma beams struck the school's main building. The walls exploded in fire and smoke. Young Viridians cried out as their crystal bodies cracked from the shock waves. Constructor offspring beeped in terror as their systems overloaded. Dr. Somin Yoon ran toward the research station's nursery as explosions shook the ground around her. Inside, human babies cried in their beds while alien young huddled in fear. Dong Yuk Nam was already there trying to calm a frightened Nephite spawn. "Somin!" he yelled over the noise of battle. "The evacuation ships are destroyed! We have no way off the planet!" Through the nursery windows, Somin could see Nephite soldiers landing. They wore armor that looked like storm clouds and carried weapons that shot lightning. They were not coming to conquer the colony. They were coming to kill every child they could find. Captain Jaewon Oh's ship shook as Nephite missiles hit the hull. His small defense fleet was outnumbered 10-1. Around him, his crew worked desperately to fight back. "Captain!" Lieutenant So-Young Han called out. "I am getting reports from all 17 colonies. They are all under attack. Nephite fleets everywhere." "How many ships do they have?" Jaehwan demanded. "Over 2,000, sir. Our entire defense fleet is only 300 ships." Jaehwan felt sick. The Nephites had planned this perfectly. While the human military thought about protecting trade routes and border worlds, the Nephites had studied human colonies. They knew exactly where the children lived. "Sir, incoming message from Earth," the communications officer said. Admiral Byung-ho Lim appeared on the screen. His face was hard as stone. "Captain O, Earth Command has received your reports. This attack violates every law of galactic civilization." "Sir, what are your orders?" Jaewon asked. "Protect those children at all costs. Every ship, every weapon, every life. Nothing matters more. Admiral, we cannot win this battle. There are too many of them." Admiral Lim's eyes grew cold. "Then make them pay for every child they harm. Make them remember the price." On the surface of Harmony, Nephite soldiers moved through the colony like a deadly storm. They used scanners to find children hiding in shelters and safe rooms. When they found them, they killed them quickly with energy weapons. But they found something they did not expect. The humans were fighting back with a fury they had never seen before. Dong-Yuk Nam had no military training, but when Nephite soldiers broke into the nursery, he became something terrible. He grabbed a plasma cutter from his lab and turned it into a weapon. He killed 3 aliens before they could hurt the babies. "You will not touch them," he screamed, standing over the children like a wild animal. Teacher Naeun Park used her body as a shield when the soldiers found her classroom. She died protecting young Viridians and constructor offspring along with her human students. Her last words were, "Run, little ones, run." Dr. Somin Yoon managed to hide 23 children in the research station's deep storage room. When the Nephites found the hiding place, she met them at the door with chemical explosives from her lab. The explosion killed her and 6 Nephite soldiers, but the children lived. News of the attacks reached the Galactic Council within hours. Elder Kethara's crystal body flashed every color at once when she heard the reports. She had lived for 3,000 years and had never been so shocked. "They did what?" she whispered. Constructor Prime Unit 1's lights went completely dark for several seconds. When they came back on, the machine spoke in a voice full of static. "Nephite forces have killed approximately 4,000 children across 17 human colonies. The first law has been broken." "This cannot be true," said Counselor Drex from the Nephite delegation, but his gas form was pale and shaking. "Our military would never—" "Your war leader Vex Thrawn sent a message to all Nephite fleets," Constructor Prime Unit 1 interrupted. Quote, "The human breeding program must be stopped permanently. Eliminate all spawn to prevent future warrior generations." End quote. Elder Kethara's body turned deep red with rage. "Evacuation ships. Send every available vessel to the human colonies immediately." "It is too late for that," Constructor Prime Unit 1 said. "The attacks are nearly complete, but there is something else the Council should know." "What?" "Human civilian ships are moving. All of them. Merchant vessels, mining ships, passenger carriers, even small family transports. They are all heading toward the attacked colonies." "Why?" asked Elder Kethara. "Unknown. But they are broadcasting a single message on all frequencies. The children call for justice." On Earth, President Wanho Jang stood in the command center as reports came in from the colonies. Each report was worse than the last. Harmony was destroyed. New Seoul was burning. Hope Station had gone silent. General Taehyung Seo waited for orders. "Mr. President, our battle fleets can be ready in 6 hours. Say the word and we launch everything." Wan Ho looked at the wall screen showing the locations of the attacks. 17 red dots marked places where human children had died. "General, activate Protocol 7. Everyone in the room went quiet. Protocol 7 was theoretical. It had never been used because it was too terrible to imagine. "Sir," General SEO said carefully, "Protocol 7 means total war, not just against the Nephite military, against their entire civilization." "They killed our children," Wanho said quietly. "They broke the most sacred law in the galaxy. They turned our peaceful colonies into graveyards." He turned to face his officers. "Protocol 7 is now active. Ready all fleets. Recall all ships from patrol duty. Open the sealed armories." "What about the other council species?" asked Admiral Lim. "Send them a message," Wanho said. "Tell them we did not start this war, but we will finish it." Ambassador Minji Lee, now serving as Minister of Galactic Affairs, composed a message to the Council. It was short and simple. The Nephite Confederation has violated the first law of galactic civilization. They have murdered children of multiple species in unprovoked attacks on peaceful colonies. The human response will be proportional to their crime. We suggest all neutral ships avoid Nephite space for the next 30 days. After that, there may be no Nephite space left to avoid. On Harmony, Captain Jaewon Oh's ship was dying. Half. His crew was dead. His weapons were gone. His engines were failing. But he had saved the evacuation ship carrying 300 children. Lieutenant So-Young Han sat beside him, blood running from a head wound. Captain, the children's ship has reached hyperspace. They are safe. Jaewon smiled. Then we did our job. Sir, look at the scanners. Something is happening. Jaewon looked at the tactical display. The Nephite fleet that had destroyed Harmony was regrouping in orbit. But now other ships were appearing. Human ships, but not military vessels. Hundreds of them, thousands of them. Mining ships with industrial lasers, cargo haulers carrying hidden weapons, passenger liners converted into battleships, family transports armed with construction tools turned deadly. Sir, So-Young whispered, it's everyone. Every human ship in the sector is coming here. The leading ship broadcast a message on all frequencies. This is Captain Sung-Ho Lee of the merchant vessel Hope's Dream. We heard the children calling. We have come to answer. The Nephite war leader, Vex Thrawn, watched the human ships arrive and felt something he had never experienced before. Fear. He had broken the first law expecting to face human soldiers and warships. Instead, he faced human fathers and mothers, teachers and farmers, shopkeepers and engineers, people who had dropped everything they were doing to come and fight for children they had never met. The battle for Harmony was over. The war for the galaxy had just begun, and the Nephites had no idea what. They had awakened. Dr. Changmin Quan stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Council. As Earth's leading expert on human war psychology, he had been asked to explain what the galaxy was about to witness. Honorable Council members, Changmin began, you need to understand something about human evolution. Most species retreat when their young are threatened. They hide their children and wait for danger to pass. Humans do the opposite. Elder Kethara's crystal body flickered with confusion. Please explain, Dr. Quan. When human children are in danger, adult humans do not become afraid. They become exponentially more dangerous. It is built into our DNA from millions of years of protecting our young from predators. Constructor Prime Unit 7 processed this information. Define exponentially more dangerous. Changmin pulled up a holographic display. A normal human can lift twice their body weight. A human protecting children can lift 4 times their weight. Their reaction time becomes 50% faster. They ignore pain, exhaustion, and even fatal wounds until the threat is eliminated. This sounds like temporary enhancement, said a Viridian Council member. It is not temporary when the threat continues to exist, Changmin replied. Humans protecting children will fight until they win or die. There is no middle ground, and now, the entire human species sees the Nephites as a threat to all human children everywhere. Fleet Admiral Seojun Baek reviewed the tactical situation from the bridge of his flagship, Earth's Fury. Around him, holographic displays showed human ships converging on Nephite space from every direction. Admiral, reported Captain Ariam Che, our scout ships have mapped all Nephite military installations. We have also located their breeding worlds. Good. Send the coordinates to all fleet commanders. Seojun looked at the massive display showing Nephite space. How many ships do we have now? 12,000, sir. More arriving every hour. 12,000? Seojun was surprised. We only have 4,000 military vessels. Yes, sir. The other 8,000 are civilian ships that have been converted for war. Cargo haulers with missile pods. Passenger liners with laser arrays. Even family pleasure craft carrying boarding teams. Commander Kyung-Soo Park appeared on the communication screen. Admiral, you need to see what engineering has been doing. They have been very busy. Seojun transferred to the engineering section of his ship. What he saw there made him stop and stare. His engineers had built weapons he had never seen before. "Sir," said Chief Engineer Ha-Young Kim, "we have been working on these designs for years, just in case we ever needed them." She showed him a device that looked like a small metal sphere. "This breaks apart molecules at the atomic level. It bypasses all known shield technology. How many do we have?" 10,000, sir. Every human ship carries at least one." Seojin felt a chill run down his spine. "Ha-Young, these weapons could destroy entire planets." "Yes, sir. That was the idea. In the Nephite home system, war leader Vex Thran was discovering that his perfect plan had become a perfect disaster. His attacks had succeeded in killing many human children, but the result was not what he expected. "Status report," he demanded from his command center. Sub-Leader Nexthul swirled nervously in his container. "Sir, human forces have entered our space in 17 different locations. They have destroyed 12 of our border stations. How many human ships?" "We estimate over 10,000, sir, and more keep coming." Vexathran's gas form darkened. "Impossible. Human military records show they have only 4,000 ships total." "These are not all military ships, sir. Scans show cargo vessels, mining, ships, even small family transports, but they are all armed somehow." "Send our main battle fleet to stop them." "Sir, we tried. The humans have weapons we do not understand. They slice through our shields like they do not exist." Captain Sung-ho. Lee had never been a soldier. He ran a small cargo business, carrying supplies between human colonies with his ship Hope's Dream. But when he heard about the attacks on the children, everything changed. Now his cargo ship was armed with mining lasers and missile pods. His crew of 5 had become a crew of 50 volunteers. His hold was full of the new molecular weapons instead of trade goods. "Sir," called his new weapons officer, a schoolteacher named Borum Park. "Nephite patrol ships approaching. 3 of them." "Target their engines," Sung-ho ordered. "Remember, we are not here to conquer. We are here for justice." The battle was over in minutes. The molecular weapons cut through Nephite hulls like paper through air. 2 ships were destroyed. The 3rd was crippled, but not destroyed. "Sir, the damaged ship is broadcasting a surrender signal," Borum reported. "Accept their surrender. Take the crew prisoner. They may have information about where the human children are being held." This scene was repeated across Nephite space. Human ships, most of them civilian, were defeating Nephite military vessels with weapons that seemed to ignore physical laws. On the Nephite homeworld, Prime Leader Zethvan called an emergency meeting of the High Council. Around him, the greatest military minds of his species tried to understand what was happening. "How are they winning?" Zethvan demanded. "We have the largest fleet in this sector of the galaxy." "Sir," reported intelligence leader Kextul, "the humans appear to have been secretly developing weapons technology far beyond anything in our databases. Their molecular disruption devices are centuries ahead of known science." "Impossible. Humans are a young species. They cannot have such advanced technology. Sir, perhaps we underestimated them. Our attacks on their children may have forced them to reveal capabilities they kept hidden." Military leader Hexdar floated forward. "Sir, there is something else. Our captured officers report that human crews are fighting with unusual determination. They ignore wounds that should disable them. They continue fighting even when their ships are destroyed." "What do you mean?" "One human ship was cut in half by our weapons. The surviving crew used their life pods as suicide bombs against our cruiser. They killed themselves to protect a transport full of rescued children." Zethvan fell silent. The reports kept getting worse. Human forces were advancing on 3 fronts. They were destroying Nephite ships faster than they could be replaced. And worst of all, they were rescuing human children from Nephite research facilities. "How many human children did we capture?" he asked quietly. 3,000, sir. They were taken to our research stations for study. And how many have the humans rescued so far? 2,700, sir. They seem to know exactly where our facilities are located. Ambassador Taman Park stood before the Galactic Council once again. This time he was not asking for membership. He was delivering an ultimatum. The human government offers the Nephite Confederation one chance to end this conflict peacefully, he said. Return all captured human children immediately. Surrender the officers responsible for ordering the attacks. Accept galactic justice for breaking the first law. Councillor Drex, representing the Nephites, swirled angrily in his container. You cannot make demands of a sovereign species. The Council will not allow— The Council has no authority here, Taman interrupted. The Nephites broke the most fundamental law of galactic civilization. They forfeited their right to protection under galactic law. Elder Kethara spoke carefully. Ambassador Park, what will happen if the Nephites refuse your terms? Taman's expression was cold as ice. Then there will be no more Nephite Confederation. You speak of genocide, Drex accused. No, Taman replied. We speak of justice. Your people killed 4,000 children, children of multiple species, not just humans. You turned schools into battlefields and nurseries into graveyards. Constructor. Prime Unit 1's lights flickered as it processed data. Ambassador Park, our calculations show human forces now control 60% of Nephite space. Nephite fleet strength has decreased by 75%. At current rates, complete human victory will occur in 14 days. Then the Nephites have 14 days to make their choice, Taman said. Elder Kethara dimmed her crystal body. What about the innocent Nephite civilians, the children who had nothing to do with this war? Human forces have strict orders to protect all children, regardless of species, Taman assured her. Nephite young are being evacuated to safe worlds as human ships advance. We do not war on children, ever. But the adult Nephites who supported the attacks? Taman was quiet for a long moment. They will face the same justice they gave to our children. As the council session ended, Constructor Prime Unit 1 sent a message to all galactic communication networks. Warning to all species. The first law of galactic civilization has been violated. Human forces are now enforcing galactic law. Any species harboring Nephite military forces will be considered hostile. Any species threatening children of any race will face immediate human response. This is not a threat. This is a statement of fact. In deep space, Fleet Admiral Seojun Baek received confirmation that the last group of captured human children had been rescued from a Nephite research station. 3,000 young humans were now safe aboard evacuation ships heading home. Sir, Captain Ariam Che reported, all human children have been recovered. What are your orders? Seojun looked at the tactical display showing Nephite space. Most of their military was destroyed. Their leaders were in hiding. Their people were fleeing to other systems. The surrender came at dawn on the 15th day of the war. War leader Vex Thrawn, who had ordered the attacks on human children, floated in a holding cell aboard Fleet Admiral Seojun Baek's flagship. His gas form was pale and weak. I do not understand, Vex Thrawn said to his captor. We killed only 4,000 of your young. You had millions. It should not have mattered so much. Captain Kyungjae Lim, who was in charge of prisoner transport, looked at the Nephite with cold eyes. That is why you lost. You think numbers matter. But every child matters. Every single one. But the cost, Vex Thrawn protested. Your people spent billions of credits on this war. You lost thousands of ships. Hundreds of thousands of your people died fighting us. All for 4,000 children? You still do not understand, Kyungjae said. We would have paid any price. We would have lost everything, because if we let anyone harm our children without consequences, then all children everywhere are at risk. On the bridge of Earth's Fury, Admiral Seojun Bayek watched as the last Nephite military base surrendered. The war was over. The Nephite Confederation no longer existed as a military power. "Sir," reported Captain Ariam Che, "the Nephite civilian government has agreed to all our terms. They will relocate to the worlds we have set aside for them. They will have no military ships and no weapons." "What about their children?" "All young Nephites are safe, sir. Our evacuation ships rescued them before the final battles. They will grow up on peaceful worlds under galactic protection." Seojun nodded. Even in war, humans protected the innocent. "Send a message to Earth. Tell President Jiang the war is over. Justice has been served." Back on Earth, President Wanho Jiang addressed the Galactic Council from his office. The other species listened carefully to his words. "The human response to the Nephite attacks is now complete," he said. "We have rescued all captured children. We have defeated the forces responsible for breaking galactic law. We have shown that attacking children brings consequences no species can survive." Elder Kethara's crystal body glowed with relief. "President Jiang, the Council thanks you for your restraint. The Nephite people still exist, even though their military does not." "We are not monsters," Wanho replied. "We do not fight wars on civilians or children. But we want the galaxy to understand something clearly. The first law exists for a reason. It protects everyone, and humans will enforce it if no one else will." Dr. Jamin Yu had been given a new job. As head of human galactic relations, he was responsible for turning former Nephite worlds into something better. He stood on the surface of what had once been a Nephite military planet, watching human workers build something new. "Dr. Yu," called engineer Sun Hee Kang, "the first memorial world is almost ready. Schools for all species, hospitals for all children, parks where young beings can play safely." "Perfect," Jamin said. "This world saw too much war. Now it will see only peace." The memorial worlds were Wanho's idea. Instead of destroying former Nephite planets, humans would transform them into sanctuaries, places where children of all species could grow up safely, protected by humans who understood the value of young life. Captain Sunmi Park commanded the first ship of the new Galactic Childhood Protection Fleet. Her vessel, Guardian's Promise, was built specifically to protect young beings throughout the galaxy. "Captain," reported her first officer, Lieutenant Minho Jeon, "we have a distress call from the Vega system. Pirates are attacking a refugee ship carrying Viridian children." "Set course for Vega, maximum speed," Sunmi ordered, "and send a message to those pirates. Tell them they have one chance to withdraw before we arrive." "What if they refuse?" Sunmi's expression was hard as steel. "Then they learn why attacking children is the worst mistake anyone can make." The new fleet was not just human ships. Viridians provided crystal technology. Constructors contributed advanced sensors. Even reformed Nephites helped design ships that could protect young beings in space. But the fleet was commanded by humans because the galaxy had learned that no species fought harder to protect children. Admiral Cheung-jung oversaw the transformation of former Nephite space. Where once there had been military bases and weapon factories, now there were schools and hospitals and playgrounds. "Admiral," reported Colonel Jisoo Kim, "the last Nephite weapons facility has been converted into a medical center. The new children's hospital will open next month." "Good. Any species that wants to put military bases near children's worlds will have to go through us first." The former Nephite territories became buffer zones around human space, not conquest zones, but protection zones, places where children could grow up without fear. In the Great Hall of the Galactic Council, Ambassador Minji Lee presented the new galactic law that would replace the old First Law. The revised First Law of Galactic Civilization, she read aloud. "Children of any species are sacred and must be protected by all civilized beings. Any attack on children will be met with the collective response of all council members, led by those species best equipped to defend the innocent. Elder Kethara glowed with approval. This law has more strength than the old one. Yes, Minji agreed. Because now everyone knows the price of breaking it. Constructor Prime Unit 1 added its voice. Our calculations show that species throughout the galaxy are improving their child protection programs. The human demonstration was educational. Counselor In Young. Oh, humanity's new permanent representative stood to address the council. We never wanted to be the galaxy's enforcers. We are teachers, farmers, artists, explorers. But someone must ensure that what happened to our children never happens again to anyone's children. And if another species threatens children? Asked a Viridian council member. Then they will face the same justice the Nephites faced, In Young said simply. We are not cruel beings, but we are thorough ones. Harm a child anywhere in the galaxy, and you will answer to humanity. On Harmony Colony, now rebuilt and more beautiful than before, teacher Naeun Park's daughter, Minseo Park, read to a new class of mixed-species children. Human kids sat next to young Viridians, constructors, and even a few young Nephites whose parents had chosen peace. Once upon a time, Minseo read, there was a garden where all kinds of flowers grew together. They were different colors and shapes, but they were all protected by the same strong fence that kept harmful things away. A small Nephite spawn raised a tentacle. Teacher, who built the fence? Minseo smiled. People who understood that all flowers are precious and must be kept safe, so they can grow into something beautiful. Above the planet, ships of the Galactic Childhood Protection Fleet patrolled quietly. On the bridge of Guardian's Promise, Captain Sunmi Park watched the peaceful world below. Captain, asked Lieutenant Minho Jeon, do you think we will have to fight another war like the Nephite conflict? Sunmi was quiet for a moment. I hope not, but if someone is foolish enough to threaten children again, we will be ready. And if they are stronger than the Nephites were? Then we will fight harder than we fought before, Sunmi said. Because that is what humans do. We protect the innocent, no matter the cost. In the memorial garden on Earth, President Wanho Jiang walked among the flowers planted for every child lost in the Nephite attacks. 4,000 flowers of different colors and species, representing 4,000 young lives that would never grow up. Mr. President, asked his aide, Secretary Yejin, Choe, some council members worry that humans are becoming too powerful. They fear we might become like the Nephites, using our strength to dominate others. Wanho knelt beside a small blue flower that represented a 5-year-old human girl named Lisa, who died on Harmony. Tell them this. Humans have one weakness that will always keep us from becoming tyrants. What is that, sir? We care too much about children to ever become the kind of people who would hurt them. Any human leader who even suggested harming children would face revolution from his own people within hours. And that makes us safe? That makes us human, Wanho said. And as long as we remain human, the galaxy's children will be safe. The war was over. Justice had been served. The galaxy had learned that some laws must never be broken, and that some species will pay any price to protect the innocent. In schools across human space and beyond, children played together under the protection of those who understood a simple truth. The future belongs to the young, and it is the duty of the old to make sure they live to see it. The first law was stronger now, not because it was written in better words, but because everyone knew what happened to those who broke it. Some lessons are taught with words, others are taught with consequences. The galaxy would remember both.